consistent when they come back, you know, Boxing Day it starts again, and regroup and continue this great run they're in.
And that win for Arsenal rounds off what has been a bumper offering from the Premier League on this Saturday. It started with that quite incredible game at the Etihad. Manchester City's 16-game winning run at home ended by Brentford, with Ivan Toney getting both goals just 2 days after he was overlooked for England's World Cup squad. It was a big win for Bournemouth after 4 straight defeats. They've then beaten Everton, who've now lost 5 of the last 7. Back-to-back wins for Liverpool and a losing start for New Southampton boss Nathan Jones at Anfield. Nottingham Forest overcame Crystal Palace for only a second win in 13 to climb off the bottom. A brilliant game between Tottenham and Leeds. Spurs came back 3 times before getting the winner from Rodrigo Bentancur in the 83rd minute. It's 4 wins in 5 for Leicester after a 2-0 win at West Ham. James Maddison scoring the first before then he hobbled off after 25 minutes for what Brendan Rodgers afterwards has called a precautionary measure. Newcastle beating Chelsea to sign off into the World Cup break on a high thanks to Joe Willock's winner. That's 7 wins in 8 for the Magpies. Chelsea have lost their last 4 in all competitions, and Arsenal sign off with a 7th win in 8 thanks to Martin Odegaard's double at Wolves. So with 2 games left before we head into this World Cup break, Arsenal sit top of the table for the next 6 weeks. That's guaranteed. 5 points clear of the summit on 37 points. Manchester City is second on 32, 2 ahead of Newcastle. And what a first part of the season it's been for them. 30 points from 15 games. Spurs in the final Champions League position on 29. Manchester United in 5th, 6 points off the top 4. They've got 2 games in hand, and they are to play on Sunday against Fulham, of course. It's Liverpool then, 7 points adrift of the top 4. Brighton 7th, Chelsea 8th. Fulham and then Brentford make the top 10. Wolves remain bottom, 4 points adrift from safety. Southampton 19th with their 12 points to their name, 2 points adrift. Forest up to 18th after their win today. They're 1 adrift, with Everton teetering just above the relegation zone by a point. They're level on points with West Ham. Villa play on Sunday, and Leicester up to 12th, clear by 4 points above the bottom 3.
Well done. Different games require different qualities. What did you have to show to dig that one out, Martin?
Yeah, I think we had to dig deep today. The first half was difficult. They defended well with all the players behind the ball, and yeah, we were a bit slow on the ball. But we know the quality we have. We know we're always going to create chances, and yeah, we stayed patient, and it paid off in the end. So it was good.
Aaron, firstly for you, how's the throat? It can never be good. Adama Traore landing on it.
It was just the side of my chin, but you know, it was a genuine attempt at a ball from both of us, so you know, it's one of them things which happened, and thankfully it wasn't nothing too major, but yeah, it was one of them nights which we thankfully come out the other end.
How big a win is that, and does it feel bigger because of the World Cup break that's coming up, and also because of that City result earlier today?
Every win is very big for us. Away from home, at home, this place is a really tough place to come, and they showed that for 45 minutes. It's a massive win to give us a huge boost going into the break and a little bit of a bumper, but that doesn't mean anything. Things will change over the break, and we have to come back how we finished it.
What was said at half-time, Martin? Because that first half in particular, I don't know, felt like a bit of a slog maybe.
Yeah, we played a bit slow. As I said, they defended well with all the players behind the ball, and yeah, we talked about some tactical things in the half-time, and I think we did better the second half. How we played the ball out wide, and how we managed to create some overload there. I think we did better in the second half, and then yeah, we got the goal, so that obviously helps a lot.
Do you want to tell us what those tactical things were?
Move the ball quicker. That's about it, really.
Do you think sometimes when a team's sitting in 5 at the back, you can get almost into training mode kind of thing?
And that's probably what we were doing, you know. There was runners in behind which we probably weren't playing because we don't want to keep turning the ball over. So like you say, it comes into that training regime where you just keep the ball, and there wasn't anything at the end of it really, and we just had to be a bit braver, be a bit quicker on the ball, and get Thomas Partey onto the ball into midfield. He's overloads, etc. So speed of ball, and then obviously we got a goal from it.
So Martin, 2 goals for you. That first one, bit of a race to the ball with Bukayo, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was a bit quicker than him, wasn't I? So I got it first, yeah.
Oh, didn't know that.
I thought.
I think I celebrate if I don't score.
I saw Bukayo sprint off. I thought it was Bukayo. Oh, well done.
Oh, maybe Bukayo's claiming it as well. We'll get to the bottom of that.
That was mine.
What about the second one? Definitely yours.
Definitely mine, yeah. Yeah, I think it was a cross, and then goalkeeper boxed it out, I think, and then the rebound, yeah, so it was good.
So 5 points clear at Christmas. I know you guys won't want to get carried away, but Arsenal supporters definitely should.
No, we have to stay calm. We've said it many times. You know, it's a long way to the end of the season. You know, some good teams around us. We're going to play every game as a final, as we said, and yeah, that's all.
And World Cup squad for you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, delighted. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. We'll enjoy every minute of it, no matter what the outcome, and hopefully we can go and win that, and then come back and we'll focus on Arsenal.
Okay, so man of the match, player of the match, Martin Odegaard.
2 goals.
Thank you.
There you are, man.
Cheers.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
And top of the table at Christmas Day for the first time since 2007, and with it a healthy advantage, Mikel Arteta touched upon it in his post-match interview after the Chelsea win, saying we are in title contention. So should we put this to bed now? Arsenal are title contenders, right, Owen?
Definitely. They've earned the right to be there. You know, they've had a fantastic start to the season. I don't think they could have ever envisioned at the World Cup break to be top. You know, with Man City and Liverpool, we could argue last season 2 of the best teams in the world, never mind in the Premier League. So to be top, they're still ahead of schedule. They're overachieving. But credit Mikel Arteta. You know, he turned that whole toxic atmosphere around that was at Arsenal. They're a fantastic side, one of the youngest sides in the whole division. But they're there. They've given themselves a chance to go and win the Premier League. Now, I just hope maybe they can go and add to it. Bring somebody else in just to strengthen the team. You look at City and Liverpool, the depth that they have. You know, Tottenham, and they have a bit more depth. Chelsea. I think Mikel probably needs maybe just one more just to help Gabriel Jesus when he does a lot for the team. But right now he's not scoring the goals. Okay, they're coming from Saka and Odegaard and Martinelli, so that's okay. But they're right there, and you just want to see them try and finish it off.
Glenn, how much have they impressed you in this first period of the season?
Well, I think they've been very impressive. There was always a good start. They had good fixtures at the beginning of the season. I was wondering whether they could come up against the top teams. They've beaten Tottenham in the North London derby. They've beaten Chelsea. They've beaten Liverpool. They were the tests, and they've come through with flying colours. Now, what that's done, it's added that confidence that they had earned in the early part of the season when they were beating the sides on paper that they looked like they could beat.
Yeah.
But now they've got that belief about them. Of course, they're 100% title contenders without any shadow of a doubt. They're a side you don't want to play at the moment.
And it was always going to be interesting to see, when Arteta did whisper those words after Chelsea, how the players respond, because it almost ups the pressure a little bit more, right? And when you've got one final push to give before you go and represent your country, that made today a bit of a tricky assignment, right?
It was tricky, obviously, top against bottom. In Wolves, they just sat in and defended. You know, they were happy to hit on the break. They played the 2 up top in Guedes and Traore, and they were a threat. But Arsenal, all they needed to do was move the ball a little bit quicker. Get a bit of width, and the goals were there. We said that at half-time, and that's exactly what happened. And credit Mikel, you know, he's seeing what adjustments need to be made. The players are making adjustments on the pitch, and that's a sign of a really good side.
Let's have a look at the first of the 2 Martin Odegaard goals. First one was almost typical Arsenal, was it not, Glenn?
Yeah, I mean, they've got this confidence about them. Look, Martinelli comes deep into the game here, deep like where Jesus, we said first half, was coming. But this time, we see Jesus now has gone high, but he's come out wide. It's beautiful play. They change the play and they go a little bit wider. This is a wonderful bit of movement. I like Jesus when he comes into these positions. He does it a lot when he was at City, played in this role. But look, that's a lovely blindside run from Vieira, lovely blindside ball in behind. But I think also what you've got to look at is Vieira when he changes the angle of the ball. As he comes inside here, got Martinelli coming to feet, they catch Wolves defenders up there. When it changes the angle, Sarr has to make movement towards that near post. And that by moving the shift in the ball, brings the opportunity then to pull it back correctly, and he's got the space. So that little movement there of just changing the angle of the ball opens things up as a player.
Man City goal, that one.
It was.
No, well, you know where they work in, it's a tap, and
Yeah.
they've got bodies at the end, flooding the box. They just, you know, they didn't do that in the first half. You know, the fullbacks played narrow, but then obviously the fullbacks were a bit wider. They got a bit more space out wide, and then they're able to work those little pockets. Vieira came on and had a good impact on the game. Martinelli's he's amazing to watch every time. So I think Mikel will be proud of that goal. It's a proper Arsenal goal.
Yeah. As for Odegaard's second, how much of it was also down to some good work from Martinelli?
Oh, I mean, Martinelli's just, he's a fantastic player. Obviously, a bit of a mistake there, but I love the fact Martinelli, he's always running at defenders, and he's creative. Zinchenko, you added a bit more width there, didn't you, Glenn, in the second half?
I think that's what they did. You know, White was making overlaps. Zinchenko, we were saying first half, and half time we said, be wider, get wider, because when you're playing against the back 5, you need to get width. Look, Traore there, you know, and Traore just doesn't take the runner, does he, at all? This is a good finish. That's the first touch, immaculate first touch. It's spinning. The ball's spinning. He's just put it perfectly on his left side. And they deserved it second half because they went through the gears and they went up and they played like we've seen Arsenal play against, you know, most of the time, actually. I thought first half they were a bit in between.
It's the second time he's scored a brace for Arsenal this season. How key has he been behind this season's resurgence?
Well, I think they all have. Obviously, Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, a bit of experience at, you know, winning trophies at Manchester City, Zinchenko. But Odegaard's a club captain. You know, and Glenn was saying in his interviews there, when you watch him, you'd say he's not your traditional captain. You know, you're Roy Keane or you're Paul Ince or you're, you know, that generation. But the young captains now are different. You know, they kind of lead by example. I think he leads by his habits on the training pitch. And he's kind of an extension of Mikel Arteta. You know, quiet, super footballer, and he's reliable. And I think he's a symbol of kind of what they're producing at Arsenal. Really consistent.
I think he's a captain in the sense that he's brave on the ball. If he makes a couple of mistakes, it doesn't matter to him. He's now got that confidence to still thread that ball. And he's now getting in the penalty area and scoring goals.
Welcome back. 0-0 at half-time. Lots of endeavour, not very many clear-cut chances, truth be told, then, between Wolverhampton Wanderers and the current league leaders, Arsenal. How do you assess that first 45, Glenn?
A little bit like the first game, you know, Newcastle and Chelsea. I think both teams have got to improve. I think Arsenal have not done enough creativity in that last third. They've had a lot of possession. And Wolves now, they're looking to play on the counter, but they haven't set anything. Wolves' problem is they're going from back to front to get those two strikers in. Got a bit of pace. When they do actually get some balls in midfield and what I call set it up, they can slide balls in from 20 yards rather than a long distance. Then they'll cause Arsenal some problems. So they've got to look for that in the second half. Wolves.
The closest we came to a goal, Gabriel Jesus, Owen.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been fantastic this season for them. He kind of interprets the position a little bit different than maybe your classic number 9. But he's a handful, you know, and this is where you want him. And he's patient. He's unlucky with there, Glenn, isn't he? You know, it's
come back in nicely. Isn't
yeah, bends his run and stays on side. He was a bit unlucky. He's been fantastic this season, but probably needs a goal. He's just gone on a bit of a dry run.
Unlucky here, then, Glenn.
I think so. I think he's trying to curl it in that top corner. I mean, if that goes in the top corner, we're all saying, oh well, he's off back and running with getting on the goal street again. But he does a lot of work for the team at the moment. He does a lot of good things in his all-round game. He just needs that goal to settle him. He scores one, he'll go and score another one today. Or if it comes, you know, the next game, which is going to be a few weeks' time, I think it's one of those things where if he gets one, it'll come again. He's not turned into a bad finisher overnight. But at this moment in time, sometimes you think he's out of positions. I want him in the box more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we just highlighted him that, you know, he's not often, when the ball's out wide, you'd expect the centre forwards to normally in the box. You know, they're getting on the end of things, getting ready for crosses. In some big moments, he's not often there where I'm sure probably Mikel Arteta wants him. What he does give the team is this, and this is probably one of the reasons why Arsenal is top of the Premier League right now. In terms of pressing the ball, he's probably the best centre forward in the division. So he gives the team so much, which Glenn mentioned, in terms of pressing. But really, for them to go on and win the league, they're going to need him to finish these off.
This is a chance. That's a good chance. I mean, early in the season, when he's in that run where he's scoring goals, he's confident. That goes in across the keeper in the back of the net. But he's just snatched it a little bit. He's tried to make it a little bit too exuberant, really. He's jumped in the air, come off the floor and tried to make it a perfect goal where, you know, he's just lacking that little bit of edge in that finishing.
But does he need to drop so deep? Is he trying to do too much?
I don't think he does. I think there's enough possession that Arsenal are getting in, particularly in this game. I'd say hang around that 18-yard box, wait for that one little ball that comes through, get yourself in the box.
Yeah. As for Wolves' openings, Gonzalo Guedes has had a couple of sighters, has he not?
Yeah, but look, Wolves are, you know, they're bottom of the Premier League. They're defended for their life and they're trying to play on the break. And obviously, with Guedes and Traore, they've got two perfect players ready to do that. This is a perfect counter. Great ball down. In a way, Glenn, it's a poor finish from Guedes because that could have been better.
It is. They show good play. But that's what I'm trying to say to you. They need a slide ball in. That's the only opportunity they've done all day where they've gone in with a nice little ball that's not gone 60, 70 yards to try and get in all the time. And, you know, this is one, again, over the top, and it's a mistake. but it's a longer ball. They make a mistake. There's a little bit of deflection. He does poor. He's got to hit the target. He's got to do better there.
Yeah. Saliba, I mean, he's been immense so far this season. Just a bit of a mistake there. But that's a good chance for Guedes, isn't it? You know, you'd expect him just to make better contact. I mean, Gabriel obviously with a big block, but they look a threat, Wolves, on the break. Glenn said they haven't had much possession.
No, they've been happy to stand off Arsenal.
Yeah, they should do, because if they went toe-to-toe, they'd probably get smashed up.
Yeah, there'll be some damage.
Yeah.